Hey, it's Mark with Museum of Us, Chapter 12, Clothes. I love the quote from Mark Twain, clothes make the man, naked people have very little influence on society. Really gets right at the heart of the sentiment that we value clothes, and along with books and photos and artwork, clothes in fact make up the majority of storage units, according to the research. And my fictional character Mario talks about all these people that he sees bringing more and more clothes in. So just a couple of really interesting points. Number one, and I'm guilty as anybody, that I have clothes up in my attic for when I get to a slimmer weight, a better, more svelte. But the reality, what's in my head, and I'm asking this as a form of a question, I have clothes that don't fit me now, but I hope that someday I get into that fit, up or down. But is that true for you as well? So one thing that we've noticed is that we tend to keep the clothes hoping that we'll get to that ideal size so that we'll fit into it, period. But the irony of that is that if we're storing that in the garage, attic, or storage unit, that's taking up space. And in the case of the storage business, that's giving your money to them for your dream that someday you'll be at this ideal size to fit those clothes. I hope the irony and the silliness of that is as evident to you as it is to me of what I do. Why I do that, I don't know, but I do it, and a lot of us do. So that's one issue, is we're keeping clothes around hoping that someday, and you can carry that. Number two, what an opportunity to recycle. There's nothing that could be more cool than just simply recycling clothes that you don't need. And so this idea of someday I'll get to that weight, then I'll go shopping for it, as opposed to paying additional storage unit charges, etc. And the other thing that I noticed as I was talking to people was that we get really good at bargain shopping. It gets into this muscle memory about bargain shopping. We get into this habit of bargain shopping. We are driven by bargains, and of course the retailers know it, so they discount things, and all the stores that we go to for discount clothing are doing a booming business because we are driven by bargains. But when we go in there, we don't ask ourselves, bear with me, I don't ask myself, do I really need it? I may value the bargain, I may feel good about myself for being a bargain shopper, but do I really need the damn clothes? And for me, absolutely not. I've got what I need and I'm in good shape. I'm not growing, or, well, not that way, I'm growing other ways. So you really have to think about, even though a bargain is a bargain and it feels good to get a bargain, that's more of a habit. That's tied to what I talk about in the other chapter, the habit of keeping things. It's part of a habit of related to something internal that's not related to our need for more clothes, period. So I'm going to argue that in the case of clothing, one, just be super mindful. And like Kate Flanders' book, The Year of Less, she consciously got rid of things, a percentage of things over time. And so she had less and less clothes there. And then she also argues in her book that don't accumulate more to replace what's going out. Let it go out, but don't have it come in, unless socks, underwear, things like that you'd need, period. But most of our attics, garages, closets, and storage units are not made up of an abundance of socks and underwear. It's the stylish stuff. It's the stuff that we want to look good in, the things that we need for work or play, and etc. And so in this chapter, I'm just trying to get at that clothes, probably more than any other subject, books, letters, artwork, utility, dishes, things like that, clothes probably are the biggest thing that you can let go of as you are ready to. But let's get over this bubble that we're keeping clothes so that when I hit that ideal size, I'll have the clothes for it. The other part of this, from the storytelling standpoint, is that there are antique quilts that I have that I'll tell stories about, but not as much clothes, unless it's something like a wedding dress or something you inherit that's an heirloom value. Then that would deserve storytelling. It would be fun to show that off and tell the story. And again, I'm going to point to the idea that once you're done digitizing and everything's on a digital hard drive, there's your story, there's what you've curated, there's our Museum of Us if we do that together. And clothes are probably the low-hanging fruit from a decluttering and from a standpoint of minimizing and getting things ready. Because here's the other side of that, and I've got lots and lots of stories from research on this, is that at the end of your life, nobody's going to wear your clothes. None of your family is going to inherit them naturally. That was a bit of a stretch. And so if you don't, then basically what you're handing down, your hand-me-down, is a closet or a storage unit of old clothes, which will immediately be taken for recycling into the Salvation Army and places like that. My suggestion is do that yourself and don't put that burden on your children. Go recycle the clothes yourself, and don't run around naked. That's a Mark Twain thing. But thank you, and talk to you next chapter.